Coming up on this episode of Swing Nation, Lindy Hop is featured in Pharrell's music video, the continuation of Bobby White's Swing 101 series, and a great interview with Nikki Marvin and Nick Williams. Swing Nation, episode 42, starts now.
Hit that jive, close the door, get the carpet off the floor. Swing Nation,
people grooving together.
Truck on down, pimp your stroll, put some jelly on that roll. Swing Nation,
People grooving together.
Hey, and welcome to Swing Nation episode 42. This is Spuds. I'm Zucker Punch. This is Rick-O-Matic. And this is December 4th, 2013. We've got a really good show for you today. We've got a fantastic interview coming up that I'm really excited about.
So excited.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But we've got some quick bits to get to first.
So, topping it off, we have a fantastic birthday that just happened. Happy birthday, Norma Miller.
Happy birthday, Norma.
As we're taping.
Not
Yes.
as we air, but as we tape.
And we already gave away that it's a big number.
I already said it was 94.
It's 94. So, kick Spud when you give me a Spud. So, in honor of Norma, we're going to mention that Norma is pissed about something else.
And I think justifiably so, for the record.
Well, you be the judge, I guess. She saw this new Broadway musical called After Midnight, which I guess has like tap dancing and jazz dancing and sort of a tribute to the Cotton Club and that whole era. And she's like, where's the Lindy Hop? And it was the best dance ever, and it really belongs in the show. So she posted to her Facebook, and she's really upset at them and wants them to integrate Lindy Hop into their show. So if you agree with her, then I guess you could join her in voicing your displeasure with the After Midnight people. I'm sure the Queen of Swing would really appreciate that.
And it was a really articulate complaint, too,
Yeah.
for the record.
Yes.
What's funny is that, yeah, she did this before with Dancing with the Stars, right?
Yes, she's done it a couple times.
Yeah. She gets pissed.
And stand back.
We've got another birthday to celebrate.
We do.
Happy birthday, Ramona Steffeld.
Yes,
all the
another
way
legend.
in Australia. You still
Happy
have
birthday,
birthdays
mate.
there, right?
Yeah, they have, yeah, but they're backwards. They go down the toilet backwards.
Oh, okay, I see.
Doesn't make any sense.
Happy birthday, Mona.
Love you, Ramona. We have a couple of news items we wanted to mention. First of all, we talked about Charleston, Huntsville, and talked to those cats. They have a really cool news story in their local news. We can post a link to it. And also those folks, the Fly Rights in Orange County.
Who
they have
killed it in the team division at ILHC this year.
Yeah, so good.
jeez.
There's a really
Ariel's
great write-up
factory.
about those guys in the OC Register. If you go to
have
ocregister.com, you can see it. We'll post the link to it. So
There it
it's
is.
a nice little advertisement.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's a great
That's really
shot.
cute.
No, I think that transition was beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, they actually got second place.
Second? I thought they won.
in US Open.
oh, US
Oh,
Open.
sorry.
So this article is all about them
Going to the US Open.
going to US Open and trying to get trying to see what they can do there. And I
Stay
think
undefeated.
Yeah, where is it? Well, I'll find it. I think it was second place, but nice work. Yeah, and I went to Disney.
Hence the silly hat.
Oh my God.
Those things are so tall.
Wow.
Oswald, bitch. All right.
Whoa.
Spuds.
I'm sorry. Micah, go to bed.
It's a family show.
Yeah, a dysfunctional family.
If you've got more free time in your internets that we are not taking up, you should also check out our good friend Mikey Bedroza's latest installment in the Little Brown Jug Show. It'll be in the show notes as well. We'd love to show it all, but we only have so much time.
Oh my gosh. Time is running fast. Should we...
Second place.
What?
Found it. Yeah, second place in the team's division. Go Dance Swing Team came in first. Fly Rights, congratulations. Sorry.
Yay.
Cool.
They
Okay.
still kick butt. Come on.
Yeah. Let's get to our first segment.
Cool.
We are so excited about this next one. Oh, sorry. This was your story.
It's okay. You got it. You got this. You got this.
Okay.
I'm going to cue up the...
I got so excited I ran over Nicole's lines. We are incredibly excited about this new Pharrell video that is actually 24 hours long And I've seen many hours of it, and I think there will be many more hours that I'm going to see of it. Not only is it a really great video and a really catchy song that gets in your ear and doesn't leave, but it also has a number of Lindy Hoppers in it, including Minvo and Jonathan Redovid, Brian Lee and Deanna O'Brien, and Nick Williams and Nikki Marvin, who we'll be talking to very shortly. But I was totally amazed, but just the whole audacity of doing 24 hours of video, over 400 dancers, Pharrell performing like I think 24 times. What did you guys think of the video?
400 dancers. I kind of can't even wrap my brain around coordinating that many people. It's hard enough to coordinate like 10 dancers to be in a place at a time. I can't even imagine doing 400. That's unreal.
If you feel like that's what you want to do, bring me down.
So that's Nick Williams and Nikki Marvin. And yeah, so we set this up at home, put it on the big screen, kind of turn the volume down because I could only listen to it 100 times before I got bored with it.
Only 100 times.
Because I could listen to it 100 times. It's such a catchy tune. And we just watched, so it was Steve Carell showed up at some point, Jamie Foxx.
And his kids.
And his kids.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson in his trophy room.
Oh, you saw Magic Johnson?
He's like dancing around with like bazillion trophies behind him.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious. So, check it out. There's lots of it to explore.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah.
So where are we at right now?
So
You wanna talk to
speaking
Nikki?
of which, I believe that we can get in touch with some of the people who were in that video.
What? Hey.
What do you say we give them a call? Just gonna put that out there. Should we vote on it? Yay.
Yay.
Yay. Good. Okay. Spuds, make it happen.
All right. Hey, everybody. We have a great little treat for you right now. We have on the Skypes, we are talking to international Lindy Hop instructor, performer, dancer, choreographer, and hot babe. Sorry, Nicole. I had to do it.
You couldn't go for beautiful or just something classy like that if you're going to talk about the way she looks. Like, yes, she's stunning. Anyway.
Nikki Marvin. How you doing, Nikki?
Good, how are you?
Terrific. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Now, Nikki is at her studio. You're at the Atomic Ballroom?
Yes.
Yes. And she's tethered over her phone, but it looks amazing, doesn't it?
Let's hope. Yeah.
How's things over there?
Good. It's a busy night. Ballroom night.
Is there a night that's not busy for you, though? I heard that you just cleaned house at US Open.
We did okay.
Did okay. Which awards did you win? Just for those of us who aren't that humble. And
Nick and I won first in Showcase. And Shaysha and I did Strictly together, and we never do that, and we won that. And I got second in the Jack and Jill with a local dancer, Charles Mallory.
yeah, you did all right. You did okay. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So you came up on our radar again because we were watching a long video. Very long video. The Pharrell video, or as my mom would say, the Pharrell. How'd you guys get involved with that? That was you, and I say you guys, I'm also talking about Nick Williams, who I think is lurking around in the background.
That creepo.
Yeah, I don't even remember how. Somehow we got an email, and they asked us to submit a video, potentially to dance in a Pharrell video. So we did a little bit of social dancing to the song, and Nick edited it together and sent it off, and they invited us to do the video. So it was a pretty easy process.
It was actually from, we got an email because of a video we did before that. Right. The Capital Cities Safe and Sound music video that we did with Mikey.
It's some of the same people that did that video.
Oh, I see. So now they've got a little taste of Lindy Hop and they keep coming back for more, huh?
Yeah.
Let's hope they keep doing that.
Exactly.
Now, just before we, I want to talk a little bit more about your video work and stuff like that, but let's back up a little bit. Nikki.
Yes.
So Lindy Hop, why Lindy Hop? How did you get into doing that?
I was actually a huge fan of the music long before I started dancing. My mom always watched old movies, so I just heard the music in the movies, a lot of 40s, 50s movies, and she had a Glenn Miller CD, and I stole that. And then my grandfather heard about that, so he gave me all of his big band CDs, and then I'd come across A Day at the Races, and I realized there was a dance that went to this music. So, and then coincidentally was around the same time as the big swing craze was going on in Orange County in the 90s in LA. So I was following all of that on the internet because I lived way too far away and I was just in high school. So, yeah. So as soon as I got the opportunity to take lessons, I did. And that was my classes with Sheisha back in 2001.
Sheisha, Mr. Sheisha. So Sheisha, as we should tell the audience, is your husband.
Yes.
Did you meet him before dancing, or?
No, I was his student.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I didn't meet him until I started taking classes from
He's
him.
a smart guy.
So yeah.
And so you guys both run the Atomic Ballroom
Yes.
in Irvine?
Uh-huh.
Yes. The old brain still ticking. How's that going? Is it you guys keeping busy over there? You're there right now.
I'm there right now, yeah. We're very busy. We're looking to expand a little bit more over the next year. Suite opened up next to us, so hopefully we can go a little bit bigger. But yeah, we're doing great. Every night is packed. The thing that sort of sets us aside from other ballrooms is that we actually have really, really good social dances that not a lot of ballrooms have. Like even on our ballroom night, we have over 150 people here social dancing. So we're pretty lucky. Yeah, it's nice.
That's a good night. That's a really good night.
Yeah.
You guys get anything? Otherwise, I'm going to monopolize Nikki.
I mean, I've got lots of questions about the video recently.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay, so watching this, I was sitting there going, okay, so I think they did this in one take. I can only imagine as a follow the kind of like pressure it is to be like, hey, I'm just gonna follow and we're gonna be going down the street and there's people and obstructions and, you know, no pressure, social dancing. Was that really hard for you?
It actually wasn't all that difficult. I mean, I was dancing with Nick, so that was pretty easy in itself. He made my job pretty easy. But yeah, you'll notice in the video I look down a lot, and I was a little afraid for my life because I was dancing in heels, and there's people in the way, and there's people that all those people you see were just shopping or working. They weren't extras. So it was a little nerve-wracking, but it happened so fast that afterwards I think we were both kind of like, okay, well, can we do that again? We're ready now.
And that was cement sidewalk too, so dancing in heels on cement is also kind of impressive considering I sometimes can't walk in those.
Not to mention that we were literally in Skid Row.
Literally.
There are a lot of holes, potholes, puddles. There was a lot of obstacles.
Yeah.
Wow. Was it hard for you guys to, our dance is, I'm not going to say stationary, but it generally stays in one area, but this was like constantly moving down the sidewalk. Was that an interesting turn of events for you guys to have to incorporate?
Yeah, I think so. I think it limited the vocabulary by a lot, you know, because we could only do so much to keep traveling. But unless we did swing outs the entire time.
Yeah, well, because they would give you directions sometimes. They would say, like, slow down, speed up. And so you're trying to lip sync, you're trying to dance, avoid obstacles, and you know, multitask everything, and that became a challenge. But you know, at some point, like in our heads, it's like, okay, I gotta start to do a couple swing outs because we only have one take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that you would do like one move 3 or 4 times in a row, which is something I really love to do when social dancing, and you don't often get to see that in performance type things that are for the general public because you want to like show them all the things that the dance is. So, you know, for the record, I was just really nice. It was really nice to see you do Let's See Thing a couple times and like play on an idea. Just, you know, putting that out there.
It was really fun. I think both of us are really happy with how it turned out and the fact that it is social. You know, you can see that it's a social dance and it's not choreographed in any way. So.
Yeah, completely freestyle. Even before just a couple seconds before we started shooting, they just said, okay, you're going to start across the street, and you're going to walk over, Nikki's going to be waiting there, and then you're going to you're just going to follow us down the street. And they're like, okay, you good? You ready? It's like, wait, okay. Oh, crap. And so that's pretty much what happened. So there wasn't a whole lot of time for thinking at that moment. You just had to go.
Yeah. So I'm really interested in that whole transition point, you guys. So there's another dancer, I guess, right before you, and then there's a transition right after, or at least it looked like right after, to another dancer. Is it really like you're just like ready to go, and there's someone on the side is like going, go, 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 or is there more time to kind of transition in as the camera's pulling away and pulling back to you?
It's a pretty quick transition. Like we did literally pick up where the last couple left off, or the last guy left off, and then the girl that's after us was waiting in the wings, and they basically ushered us out of the way.
Yeah, there was just a few minutes in between, just so they can situate themselves. But if you notice in the video, like they would kind of pan up and pan down, and it's just a few minutes in between each shot, pretty much.
Yeah. Wow. And we're literally sitting in a van, and then jumped out and started dancing, and all the dancers are watching from the van. So we were driven around downtown LA for a good while. It was a white van, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I got talk to the cops because the van was, like
blocking
things.
That's not shady at all. There's people popping in and out of this vehicle.
The entire video was just traveling, so there was no like spot that you can just go to. It's like you don't know when the last person will end, because there's no actual. They just keep going until the song ends. So wherever that is, it's just where it is.
And is Pharrell involved at all, or are you just sort of?
No, I'm actually really sad we didn't get to meet him. I think I crushed on him since high school. No, we didn't get to meet him at all.
Yeah, I actually had a crush on him since high school too. So
I still do.
I just graduated really late. So Nikki, actually, I want to shoot a quick question out to Nick, because he was nice enough to stick around. Nick, we got to have you on the show as Nick Williams proper.
I love. It's been years since I've been on the show.
Yeah, we pick on Nick all the time. I think every time. I think you're scared of me, because when I see you like in harangue or something, you're like, "Where's the microphone?"
Okay, well, sometimes I guess. No, you and I play off each other all the time. It's fun.
Yeah, but you would never come on Sausage Fest.
That I decided not to do. I thought that a bit best to be.
Shaysha was on Sausage Fest.
Say that again. Shaysha was on Sausage Fest.
So you guys have Nick. So you're teaching at the Atomic Ballroom.
Yeah, on occasion. I'm kind of like a independent contractor with them, but I've been becoming more and more involved in just local classes, privates, and things like that.
When you're in town, I mean, I don't know how any of you guys have time to do things locally as well, considering like the travel schedule you have, Nick. And Nikki, I've been seeing you all over the place too. I'm just like so impressed. When I'm done traveling, I'm like, oh, I just want to go into my hole and like not see anyone for a while. I don't know how you like keep all the balls up in the air.
I think I function best when I have no time to think.
Right.
Yeah, when you have that settle down time, that's when your body crashes, But if you're just on the go, then you're just rearing. But I think the whole thing is that a lot of us are trying to like balance out our schedules when it comes to traveling, so that we do have just more of a home life. And for me, for the last several years, Atomic Ballroom has always been just home base. It's like where you go to practice. It's where you go to teach little workshops, and just everything is all centered around Atomic Ballroom. So it just makes sense to do more and more at Atomic.
Brilliant, awesome.
Atomic, for you.
Let me say Atomic one more time.
No, that's all right. That's what we're here to. We're here to plug the Atomic Ballroom. We're here to plug you guys. Check out NikkiMarvin.com, and what's yours, Nick? It's just NickWilliams.com.
SwingNick.com.
SwingNick. Why did I? Because we used to always read your stuff. You don't write enough anymore.
I need to start up on the blog and video blog stuff.
Yeah. Well, SwingNick.com, and thank you guys so much for being on SwingNation.
Pleasure.
Oh, so good. It's hard to transition, but we have this other story that I wanted to mention really quickly. So there's a really great online service that is unfortunately shutting down or transitioning called Turntable.fm. And I found out there's a great space in there created by James Benzie called Swing Music for Dancers. I think there's also one for blues music for dancers as well. I mean, there's a lot of forums.
I used to hang out in the soul room all the time.
Yeah. So there's all these rooms where you can DJ basically from home to lots of other people who are listening. And a lot of major swing DJs would go in and hang out with each other. And it was a great place for DJs who were coming up to network with other DJs.
And get feedback, because the audience would be like, yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. Where'd you get that version or whatever? Unfortunately, it's going away. So we got word from the actual guy who founded it. We got a really great message from him about why he founded it and how it lasted through 2012 to 2013. And other people who are saying it was really helpful for them getting started as DJs. Someone even got a gig because of it. So I'm sad to hear about spaces like this going away, but it's cool that people are coming up with ways to use these online music spaces to support swing music in our scene. And already there are plans to move on to another service called plug.dj. And we will post the link to that as soon as in the show notes. So check it out if you're a DJ or just somebody who loves swing music and wants to hang out with other DJs.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little sad.
Yeah.
You know,
you would hang out there, right?
I hung out a little bit, very little. I mostly lurked.
Yeah,
but
there was a hot second where I was lurking around in there, but I have a day job. I have to concentrate on things. So
yeah,
that's where most people were doing their turntable FMing though, from their day job. I could look over the shoulder of most of my coworkers and they were doing it. Anyway, goodbye. Sorry.
Well, on that downer note, we've got a special for you guys, straight from Bobby White's Swing 101. This is a special that he's started doing just for us at SwingNation, which is kind of awesome. So this is exclusive content that you're seeing here first.
Rhythms in the 1920s early jazz had what we can oversimplify as a boom chick feel. Thank you. That was a rather good impression, wasn't it? But by the 1930s, it has started to transition into what we can oversimplify as more of a chick-to-boom feel. Chick-to-boom, 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 chick-to-boom. And this rhythm was said to swing. And so were its dancers. Now, why do I call this the Dark Ages? Well, it's not because nothing happened or because it was a dark period in time or because a European feudal system took over the Savoy Ballroom. It's called the Dark Ages because we hardly have any footage of it. I mean, all these dances, Lindy Hop, Balboa, Collegiate Shag, Southern California Swing, all these dances are beginning or evolving or growing in very important ways, and we have hardly any footage of it. So when we think of great Harlem swing dancers, we think of like Frankie Manning, Norma Miller, Al Menz, Leon James. These are actually part of the second great generation of Savoy swing dancers. There's an entire first generation before them. Frankie Manning, for instance, didn't really start dancing at the Savoy until around 1933. So that entire first generation of great Savoy dancers, their entire reign was during the Dark Ages, where we have hardly any video footage of them whatsoever. But according to legend, there were two other great leaders, aside from Shorty George, and they had equally cool nicknames. Leroy Stretch Jones, who was really tall and apparently danced a little like Fred Astaire, and Twist Mouth George, who had a disfigured face. Two of the great followers of the era were Maggie McMillan and a woman named Edith Matthews. Edith Matthews, according to Frankie Manning, is the follower we have to thank for the very first twists. Now, even though we don't have a whole lot of footage from this time, I did recently see this. You probably blinked, so here it is again. What you just saw was Shorty George dancing with the same partner he had in After 7. However, it is a time period after 7. Which is awesome, because this is video footage from the Dark Age. So I want to give a huge thank you to Bill Green, a clip collector who put this up on his YouTube account. I haven't seen it before. Anyone I've showed it to hasn't seen it before. It's really exciting. So thank you, Bill. According to Bill, this was from a 1931 clip, which again reassures us that this was taken in All right, so we don't have a lot of footage from this time, but we do have some educated guesses about what was going on. So first off, triple steps started to come around and influence the basics of the dance. And this makes sense because triple steps are swung rhythm. Chick-da-boom, chick-da-boom, chick-da-boom. Triple step, triple step, triple step. And so that makes sense. We also know at this time that follower swivels, like we mentioned, are starting to evolve and grow. And you can even see Shorty George's partner in the clip that we just showed, showing off some early swivels. And when I first saw these, I may have squealed like a little girl. On the inside. And maybe a little on the outside. Finally, we know that the dancers that were thought great because they had good technique and individuality. And it wasn't enough just to have good technique, and it wasn't enough just to be an individual. Those great dancers were both individuals and had good technique. And I think that's something that survives with us today when we look at those that we find great. So we happen to have a very potent way of seeing how Lindy Hop evolved because we happen to have footage of Shorty George dancing in the beginning, the middle, and the end of the dark period. And so check out 1929 Shorty George dancing, possibly 1931 Shorty George dancing, and then 1937 Shorty George dancing. The evolution of Lindy Hop during the Dark Ages, according to Shorty George. Now, just to add to the Dark Ages, it's not just Lindy Hop that's growing up at this time. There are dances across the nation that are being done to swing music, especially in places like California. And we have hardly any footage of these being made at this time. In a small area called the Balboa Peninsula, a group of middle-class and upper-class dancers were doing a chest-to-chest dance called the Balboa, which soon spread around the region. In LA, a little bit north, a dance called swing was growing, and in a lot of places, a dance called the shag was spreading. Shag itself is a fascinating dance because it's hard to pin down where it came from and in what way shags being done in places were the same shag. But what's important for us to remember is that it's not just Lindy Hop that is evolving at this time. Balboa, swing, collegiate shag, they're all starting to grow. They have their own nature, they have their own mechanics, they have a slightly different spirit than Lindy Hop in various ways, but it's still meant to express swing and jazz music. And it does so by allowing the individuals to express themselves as well as the partnership and the teamwork to express itself. And that, once again, is one reason why swing dancing is awesome. So let's take a look at what a social dance floor might have looked like in California in 1936. Now what you're seeing is not easily classified. You can make an argument that it's a dance called jig trot, or Southern California swing, or Balboa, or a style of shag. No matter what you call it, it does appear to be the primordial ooze of what's soon to come in the late 1930s. So we're going to hop back over to Harlem for the rest of this journey because so far we've talked about one generation of swing dancers, and this time period is actually the story of two generations of Savoy swing dancers. First, you have the first generation who was beginning the dance, inventing it, creating it, evolving it, and mastering their own personal styles. But you also have a whole new group of dancers who were coming into the Savoy Ballroom who first emulated those dancers, but then started to make the dance their own. And this was the second great generation of Savoy dancers, the ones that we probably know of the most today, because they would soon become Whitey's Lindy Hoppers. But first off, before they're there yet, there are many great stories in swing dance history, some of which are dirty old man stories, which I can't really tell you at this time. But two of the absolute greatest stories of all happen to bookend perfectly this time period we're talking about. The first is told by Norma Miller in her book Swingin' at the Savoy, She also told the story in Kim Burns' jazz documentary, and you can find that one specific story told on YouTube. So I highly recommend checking that out. But anyway, she tells the story of how, as a young girl, hanging out at the Savoy Ballroom, she got the opportunity to dance with Twist Mouth George. But don't take my word for it. Now, the other story is actually probably most people's favorite story of all time in Lindy Hop history. And what happened was this. Shorty George and a group of the first generation dancers decided to challenge a group of the second generation of Savoy dancers, one of which was a leader named Frankie Manning. And Frankie Manning, for this contest, decided that the only way the dance could go was up. And so that story of the very first air step, which began to change Lindy Hop performance history forever. You can read about it in Frankie Manning, Ambassador of Lindy Hop, by Frankie Manning and Cynthia Millman. By the way, Cynthia Millman is one of my heroes. Or you can hear him tell the story himself on YouTube. So just YouTube Frankie Manning, first air step story, and there's, I think, a few examples of him telling the story. Anyway, that moment greatly symbolizes the passing of the torch from the first generation to the second generation. And we're going to learn a whole lot more about them next time.
Well, that's it for this episode of Swing Nation. Thank you so much for joining us. And, of course, thanks to our wonderful host, Cafe Sophie, at 3463 16th Street in San Francisco, serving the finest Verve coffee beverages and Silk Road teas and tasty pastries. That's cafesophiesf.com. We love their beverages and drink way too many of them. If you want to contact us,
I don't know what you're talking about, right?
Yes, she's got like three. She's got like three of them.
Nice
right now.
cups. Wait a minute, that doesn't
Whoa.
make any sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was wrong.
If you want to berate Spuds or contact us, there are many ways to reach us. You can email us at news@yehoodi.com, Facebook us on Yehoodi, Twitter @Yehoodi, @Spuds, @SuckerPunch, @Rickomatic, and @PunkAssJim behind the scenes. You can telephone us at 201-984-SHOW, 201-984-7469. We love to hear from you guys. We love when you rate us up on the iTunes. And most of all, we love to just give you guys the best of Lindy Hop in the world.
Oh man, the wheels are coming off the train.
You can tell
man.
we're getting towards the end of the season when we're all just like,
Thanks for watching. We will see you in a week.
see you guys next week.
Bye.
All around the planet, gates are in the groove. Don't have to understand it, you just have to move. Truck on down, pimp your stroll, put some jelly on that roll, swing